All right, welcome to Quack and Smite League. I'm your boy Hunter Big Malls, and casting with me today is none other than Zavareth. Zavareth, how's it going?
I'm doing pretty good, Hunter Big Mouse. Thanks for having me.
Uh, yeah, I mean today we got a big matchup between the V Bacas and the Dukes for third, fourth place. Um, Going to the picks and bands here. Who do you think's gonna win this one? The Dukes, or the Bacas?
I'm gonna have to give it to the Dukes. I just feel like their lineup is a lot more of like known players. Even though the Bacas do have stages, I don't think he's gonna be able to carry this one out for his team.
Yeah, I mean that team. It's just been really stages, kind of carrying the load over there. You see shines of play from other people, like good old Rigged Wriggle and Comba every now and again, but mainly it's just been stages kind of carrying the load on that team.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the Dukes, they have the God Squad lineup of Sandman Sam, Ryland, Blitzkov, Clay City, and subbing in here in the Soul Lane is MN Vaxis. Normally it's Budgie Dude. Some call him Budget, others call him Burger. Were there any rumors on why Budgie Dude wasn't playing in this one?
I don't know. He might have been benched, but I don't know. Maybe he just wasn't feeling like playing this game. But either way, this should be a good game between the both teams, and I'd like to see these bands as we see the Morgan and the Morgana bands coming out.
Yeah, I mean, pretty basic bands. Camazot's coming out. Morgan, Morgan Le Fay, not really. You don't see too much, but Camazot's and the Morgan, pretty common bands. A Freya band coming in too now. Uh, what do you think these comps are gonna be looking to do? You think they're just gonna prioritize the Olerons and the AMCs, or you think maybe in this third, fourth place match you're just gonna throw out some more wild things?
I'm pretty sure there's gonna be a lot of wild picks because those bands look directly centered at stages and stages only. They're showing that they're not too worried about anybody else on the team. And of the side of the V-Bakas, they're just banning things like for every role. As we do see the chalk insta-locked.
Hey,
Get to the
yo,
chaka!
Crowns. Clay City said this is game two for the I think you have the screenshots of every game too on here. Yeah, you're good. You're good. That's fine. Production pick game two because they posted the screenshots of that. So we're gonna switch over to game one. Game two though, first Insalaka Chalk. Chalk's been seeing some play recently. Zav, why are people going to the old Chalk bot?
Well, chalk, this is a very big healing meta, as we do see, and big buttons win games right now, as you can see from your Mojas, your Gilgameshes, your Alderons. Anything with just wide ranges of CC just win you games and win you fights very easily.
Yeah, that is very true. Very true. Loaded into this one though, we didn't have picks and bans. They must have had to recreate the lobby, but we do have on the side of the Dukes a Soul, Naja, Hercules, Chalk, and a Ganesha, and on the sides of the Bakas we have Mulan, Hachi, Achilles, Kronos, and Serket. Well, like we were saying, kind of a lot of wild picks. Wait, we're showing. Is this game two? Oh, this is game two. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
All right, never mind. All right.
A
Cancel
little bit
that.
of a
Still game
whoopsie.
two. A little bit of an oopsie there from production. They're crying. They said they're sorry. So Zav, how does it feel to win the minors championship? Huh? Do you feel like you're a big man now?
Yeah, did it last season, did it this season. Too bad I'm no longer allowed in minors, so I'll have to go for the 3P in majors this next upcoming season, but I'll see what I can do about that.
Yeah, you're just too good for us bots down in the minors. Hunter Big Moses was just thinking about picking you up in the first round, but once I heard of the bad news you going up, bro, I don't know.
Yeah, very unfortunate news indeed.
Now
Especially now
maybe,
that we see the gems coming in.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Could have made the God Squad. Now you're gonna be joining the likes of Buggy Dude and Margie, man. Maybe making the God Squad up there.
Perhaps, maybe we can make our EGL team a dream in QSL, but probably not, as Margie is a high priority pick and Brigadude is a player in Smite.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're getting ready to load into game two here very soon. So, what else can we talk about loading going into this game? Are you ready for the new season, man? What you think? You think that new obelisk can do anything of any value, or is it going to still be a pretty useless new thing added to the game, kind of like the Draugr?
Oh, that obelisk, I looked at it, it looks really cool, but I can't say it does much of anything really. It does like 40 damage like every second. It's basically just a mystical mail. Uh, the one thing I do say is pretty crazy in this new up and coming season is that siphoning sunder. That thing does a lot of damage very quickly.
Oh yeah, that will probably get nerfed. They already nerfed beads and the blink. I'll probably be the next to go. But going into these picks and bans, we did see a little bit of the picks and bans from last game. They primarily targeted stages there, just banning basically all of his main gods that he likes to play. You think game one they're going to do the same thing here too, just kind of ban out stages and say somebody else has to beat us?
After we see the first Morgan Le Fay ban, I'm gonna have to say yeah, they probably are just gonna hard ban out stages here. Because we do see
Yeah.
a sub, Hado
Uh,
W coming out.
oh yeah, AOW being subbed in there. AOW, OW. He hasn't got a lot of playtime, right?
No, I don't think we have seen him played a lot in the QSL this season.
So two new faces here. We got MN Vaxis. I don't think he really played much either this entire season. Uh, Budget dude, I think he hurt his wrist, got a bit of carpal tunnel, and couldn't make it to this one, and so instead they subbed in Vastus in the solo lane. And
Because
then
we
yeah, as we
uh,
see going
the
into
RDO ban,
yeah. I was about to say.
RDO, AMC, decent bans right now. Both of those gods, they do a lot in the roles that they're in. Just a lot of pressure coming out. Nobody wants to deal with it. Soul also another high pressure early game god that you just don't want to deal with from either side.
Yeah, just pretty normal standard bands, except for maybe the Morgan Le Fay again here in this one. But I think they're really just trying to narrow down stages picks here. He plays a lot of the Morgan, plays a lot of Morgan Le Fay. I see him play Thoth a decent amount. I haven't seen him play really much else besides those three. Those are his three mains. But who knows? Maybe we'll bring out something in this game, game to decide third, fourth place.
As we
State.
wait to see these first picks.
Yeah, what do you think is going to come in here?
Honestly, I don't know. The Yamoja's still up. I would love to see a Yamoja from either side here. That god just does a lot for what she brings to the table right now. Just a lot of healing, a lot of CC, and a lot of just stuff to keep people into a fight.
And they are hovering the chalk and insta lock it in. Chalk, like you were saying earlier, literally came out of nowhere in this meta. People started to realize Blackthorn Hammer combined with Transcendence allows him to not only body the laner, but anyone that tries to gank him. And then he's just press 3 bot and you never lose the lane. But first picking Chalk, I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't think it's the worst idea. Picking for your support or your solo is what usually happens in most of these games. Chalk is just a really safe pick. There's not much you can do to counter him in lane. He's just gonna keep healing, and especially with Med being so optimal right now, it's just he's just gonna sit in lane, and there's nothing much you can really do about it without good coordination from your jungler to help in a gank.
And we do see Rigid insta locking in the Geb. Conva waiting to pick his god, and he does hover over the Cleo. Cleo, I feel like people started to figure her out. Oh no, never mind. He switches over to the Gilgamesh and locks that in. Geb though, I feel like he was top picked or banned every single time, no matter what. But I think people are really starting to figure out how to play around that shield and really punish him.
Yeah, people are realizing that Geb, you can't allow him to get the space that he wants to get. Picking a target, and right now in this particular DPS heavy
Even
meta and
gods must
backliners
heed the
just shredding through
scales of
frontliners,
fate.
Geb doesn't really have that much value because Geb's just like, hey, I'm stopping my backline from being one shot, but it can't really help you when there's a Freya pummeling you from the front. I do like this Gilgamesh pickup though. This Gilgamesh Geb combo could be quite potent for anybody who's trying to fight in the mid 3v3 around 5 to 20 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, right now both easy beads burners right there on the Geb and the Gilgamesh. They do end up locking in the Freya and the Nemesis on the back end there. Nemesis gonna be able to kind of ult this Geb and just burst him down really fast, kill him. That's slow on the ultimate combined with the two. It's gonna be hard for him to be able to get out of any long term team fight engagements.
Yeah, I completely agree. If Geb makes any two cocky moves, that this Nemesis could just pummel him down for it. Also, being able to help off this Freya because she does just remove prot. She's not like AMCL where it's only physical prot. It just removes 30% of his overall prot.
Yeah, 30% of the protections too. I mean, that's kind of massive. Geb very immobile until he gets his channeled one off. So I mean, he's gonna have to play a lot safer than what he would want to on this Geb pick. Medusa getting locked in too. That's gonna be to kind of counter this Freya ADC healing. Once she gets Hakate online. But Freya though, what do you think of Freya into a Gilgamesh and Geb? I know she can immune it with her ultimate, but I feel like once that's down, she's just kind of dead on cooldown.
Freya right now is in a weird spot because if you allow her to get the pressure that she wants in lane, she just doesn't care about the damage you're doing to her because her passive lifesteal, the item she builds lifesteal, she'll just heal it back up, and she does have a couple ways in her kit to avoid a lot of this damage. She can 3 Gilgamesh drop kick, just staying there and back off. And there's also many ways for her to just get out of this Geb combo by just sitting in the air and waiting until she's in a position where the rest of her team can assist her in a way out.
Yeah, I mean, and these first two picks don't really have any appeal for her at all, so she's going to kind of be left on an island by herself. Remaining bans, Achilles and Atlas. Atlas is banned, so they kind of just threw that one away, but I guess they really don't care what they give up on these last couple picks here. On the side of the Bakas, they banned out the Yamoja, who surprisingly doesn't go in the top three, and Hell. Sandman Sam has been known to be his Hell one trick, so I mean, that's a pretty decent ban there. And Shmibo does insta lock in Bologna. Don't really see auto attacking soul laners. Think he's got some hidden tech?
There is a good interaction between Bologna and Nemesis. Maybe they're not overlooking it, but they're overvaluing it because Bologna 3 does now destroy Nemesis shield instantly. They did make this a change near the beginning of the season, which could prove to be a big problem for this Nemesis trying to engage on the back line.
And we see the Khepri getting locked in, and the Sun Wukong is this gonna be a Sun Wukong mid or a Chalk mid? Which one do you think they're throwing in the mid lane here?
I'm feeling like it's a chalk mid. Chalk mid is a lot more funny to me, in my opinion. Sun Wukong mid, we do see it every now and then, even though it can be classified as a troll pick. I would like to see the chalk mid more though, because you just rarely ever get to see chalk and mid nowadays.
I mean, yeah, I mean, and he can just kind of run down that mid laner for a large portion of the game. Can never really 1v1 him, and it is going to be Chalk in the mid lane on Sandman Dennis. Stages does lock in Tiamat. I haven't really seen Stages play too much Tiamat. Can you attest to if he's any good on it or not?
Tiamat, just a god with a bunch of buttons. And if you have like any idea of how to play her, you can make her very potent. I don't think I've seen Stages play the Tiamat too often, but hey man, if you like the god and the god's good right now, go for it.
I mean, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like the Vaca's comp a little bit more. They have a lot more setup, a lot more CC to go with it. Whereas it looks like on the side of the Dukes, they just have a lot more one target bursts and more late game potential kind of with that Freya.
Yeah, that Freya is the V-Buckers just have to make sure this Freya does not get the late game, and they do have a lot of assets in their kit now with this Bologna add-on. Bologna just needs to 3 her, and that buys Gilgamesh a lot of time on her in the back line. That gives him a lot of time to just slap at her with his one and just not face any repercussions from it. She can't heal if she can't auto.
Yeah, I mean, and also there's a Medusa now too to proc that 50% anti-heal. I mean, really, this Freya should not be able to play, but as you're saying, if she gets the late game around this heavy burst comp that the Dukes have, they should, I feel like, be able to win late in the team fighting stages.
Yeah, the Dukes definitely have to pull something out with this cheese comp that they created. We'll see how that goes. As Sun Wukong does go to the mid lane, we do see that, and Shock will be going solo for MM Vassus.
Yeah. M Vassus is going. Oh, it was Choxel. I don't know. Oh, they switched before and then switched back. So it is the Sun Wukong now in the mid lane, picking up the Bluestone and probably going to go into Transcendence there. Um, I feel like the Dukes are going to have a lot of early pressure though with this Simukong in the mid. He should be able to kind of out pressure a Tiamat. He can kind of just face tank that one, and then other than that, in the duo lane, it might kind of be a stale a little bit. Medusa has some pressure, but Geb having almost none. You think maybe the Dukes might just look to play this to late game, or you might think they might look to try and pressure, invade some reds and some blues.
Medusa, people don't the DPS Medusa has early. Her 1-2-3 combo does a lot very quickly, and I don't think Kepri before 5 really does much. Neither does Freya really. She does have a lot of like good DPS, but it's not enough to contest the DPS coming out from this Medusa, and especially if she has a pocket Geb to give her a shield in any way out. This Kepri can't really optimize his grab that much.
And we were talking about too how this Freya is just kind of get ran down or should get ran down for most of this game, and she decides to opt for a sprint instead of beads or Aegis. I don't really know how that's going to counteract the CC that's going to be thrown at her, but what do I know?
Uh, Maybe there's some hidden tech that I've never seen before with the Freya sprint. Maybe they were looking for some early game cheese to just walk somebody down and just snowball hard off of that because late game, one of these relics is going to be a waste. She's not going to either have Aegis or she's not going to have beads, and that could be a big problem late game against something like a Gilgamesh dropkick. I would like to see her opt into beads second, or she will face the repercussions of not going beads.
Yeah, I mean the the entire Duke's team, none of them opting for beads at all. Mid laner, jungler, both blink. Solo laner actually going teleport. I didn't know that item or that relic, excuse me, even existed anymore. Why the teleport? You think maybe he's gonna maybe try to make some cringe teleport ganks here in the mid game?
Potentially in the mid game, or he's gonna play it probably like most people would play an ADC in solo, where you just split push and just don't do anything around the map and hope the other team wastes their time trying to deal with you. Because most of the time, Chuck doesn't really have to leave lane. He's almost like another Chang'e, where he just has infinite sustain in every regard. Once he gets that Blackthorn and Trance online, he'll never run out of mana, and just because he's never running out of mana, he's never gonna run out of HP either.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck isn't really known for split pushing potential, but who knows? Maybe they're just really underestimating this V Bacchus team and just thinking they can kind of come out and do whatever they want and still beat them. Medusa really low, getting hit.
Khepri
Oh,
getting poked out
Kepri
very
getting
quick.
poked out by the Medusa there too, but no follow up coming out of the Geb there at all. Maybe look to engage there with his one or his two, slow the Kepri and try and get a kill, but nope. Instead, they just let this Kepri hit his pots and heal back up.
This is a weird situation as your support is low, but your ADC is also low on the other side. Both very easy to get a pick on if they play the situation wrong. Both teams opting to go to both of their own individual purples, not really looking to fight that much, realizing that anybody could die in this early situation and not trying to give up first blood.
Uh, yeah, I mean, this game is going pretty slow right now. You would think maybe they would look to do these early ganks, especially onto a sprint Freya, but nothing's showing up on the left side of the map. More the 2v2 mid, but I mean, I don't really think you're going to kill a Sun Wukong or a Nemesis unless somebody makes a really big misplay.
Maybe they're
Solo laners
splitting.
just kind of bopping each other around. Yeah, and end up splitting the mid lane, those mid harpies there too. Um, who do you think you want to see start to aggress here as a game gets into like the 5-6 minute mark?
I would like to see the Bacchus try to get aggressive as they do. They should have some awareness to see that this Freya has sprint. She has no defensive relics that really can do anything to stop a Gilgamesh drop kick and just a bunch of follow up off of that. She's just kind of stuck in place where she is. But if they allow her to get the 5, now she does have some form of beads online to prevent that from happening.
Yeah, I mean, she's that lane is staling out like you were saying. Medusa's early game damage. They should be able to pressure pretty efficiently in that duo lane, but I think they're just kind of letting them free farm. I don't really know, and they actually beat them to level 5, which is kind of insane on a Freya. You think you'd be able to pressure out Geb rolling in, big ult coming out of him, stunning both of them. Meditation coming out of the Kepri, the dash in by Medusa, Freya ulting out, and I think popping sprint there too. The Medusa ult coming in, slowing the Kepri. Kepri ulting himself and just barely getting out. A 0-for-0 trade, all ultimates down out of both support and ADC.
We do see the Blitzkrieg rotation come out. Maybe they're looking for a return gank, knowing that their ults are everybody's ults are now down. The blink into the Medusa.
And
Geb shield.
yeah, the ult coming out of the nemesis there, but there was no follow up from his team. I don't know, I don't know if the call was to engage there or what, but he blinks in to try to kill the Medusa on his own. Geb just knocks him up, and the Medusa freely walks out. Kind of a waste there a little bit of the ultimate and blink coming out from Blitzkrieg there.
Yeah, maybe it's just a misplay. His team probably telling him, "We don't have anything here. We can't really fight." And Blitzkrieg not getting the memo and just going in anyways, just getting his ult force and his blink force for ultimately nothing. All he got was the Geb med, and then both parties got out for free.
Yeah, I mean, that was the ganks you were talking about, just coming from the other side there, coming from the Dukes instead of the Bacchus.
Ah,
I don't really know what this Gilgamesh is doing. He's just kind of farming. I feel like this early game he can kind of just run this Nemesis down. Nemesis not really good in the early game, especially in the hard CC such as the Gilgamesh drop kick.
yeah, Gilgamesh does have to play this matchup right. Even though Gilgamesh should win a one-on-one against Nemesis early, if he does miss that drop kick, his fighting potential drops very much because that is like at least a good 50% of his damage. As we do see the Geb ult come out with the follow up of Blitzkrieg getting picked over in the left side jungle.
There it is. That's what you're talking about. He just has to play the engagement right, and he should die. Rigid kind of out of position, like we were saying on this Geb here. The Sun Wukong ult coming out. Is he going to engage? He does decide to go in and kills Rigid with the ultimate proc there. Combo though rotating from the soul lane. They should be able to pick up this kill on the Sandman, right? There's no way he gets out of this. Ult coming out of Tiamat. Ult from Bologna, but missed the two bludgeon coming out, and Sandman
He gets
Sam
stages
pulls a kills stages and still gets out. Oh my! And then Clay
and
City soloing
soloing
Shmeepo
Shmeepo.
on the back end. Though low Geb ult coming out, he should be getting out of there pretty freely. The Gilgamesh unable to follow, but Bologna coming in. And Bologna unable to pick up the kill there. How does Sun Wukong live in that scenario? His dash was down and his ultimate down. How does he live? But as I'm saying that, Gilgamesh picks up the kill onto Kepri.
Just a bunch of misplays from Conva. As I do see, he just came in, missed his three a couple times there, and then got his ankles absolutely snapped by Sandman Samuel as he just baits him to ult in and kills Shmeep. I mean stages for it just virtually for free. Walks out of there and then just does whatever he wants after that.
Yeah, I mean, and then as we were talking about that, Blitzkov falling again, using his blink once again, not really picking up anything. Geb trying to make a rotation onto Clay City, but just whooping him away and then going back to lane. I mean, even though Clay City got this early kill, I mean, still on to the Medusa, still both level 7. Now, actually, Clay City, after clearing that wave, does have a small lead, and you don't want to give Freya a lead in this laning matchup.
Yeah, I would like to see them try to shut her down early. They need to put pressure on her as her sprint is down for 40 more seconds. Even though it's sprint, they can still get a pretty easy gank on her as she doesn't have that much value trying to run away from a lot of kit. As we do see a team fight coming over by the Fire Giant.
Ult out of Sun Wukong. Gebel following up on the back end in the Gilgamesh ult, killing Sandman Sam. He got a little overzealous there, thinking he can just kind of go in and do whatever he wants. A big chalk axe coming in, doing damage. Blitzkov getting picked up by stages, didn't have his dash, and his shield was down. Jumping from stages, ultimate knock up onto the chalk, and chalk falls to Gilgamesh 2. That was a 3-for-0 trade going the way of the Bacchus.
Questionable play from the Kepri as his ult was up and ready. He just maybe couldn't find the right angle to grab the chalk and get him out of danger, but very unfortunate circumstance regardless.
Yeah, I mean that's literally the only job of the Kepri, just ult anyone who's low and just try and get him out. But I guess he felt like even if ulting him, he was still maybe gonna die, as they were just gonna be able to maybe to chase him down. But I mean, as we look at these builds now, Sandman Sam Transcendence and probably gonna be a Soul Eater double stacking. So I mean, he's already a level down now, and now he's going to be behind because he needs to stack these to get his power online. You think that's the right call for him to double stack Transcendence and Soul Eater?
It's ideally it's not the best, but he is against a team man. Team man minions do count as minion kills, so maybe he's looking at that and saying, "Hey, I have a lot of potential here."
Vax is dropping the kill onto Conva very low, popping what I believe to be meditation there, right, to stay alive. Oh, actually, no, maybe just a couple pots that are ticking to keep him alive, though. Vash is still looking to maybe get a gank on the back end here on this Bologna. Kepri just smacking the tower. I mean, he's probably doing 10 in auto to that thing. They're kind of just dancing around on this fight here. You know, Sam and Sam with the big rotation coming in. The blink onto the Geb. Geb ult coming out, but now Geb is in a terrible position. Someone just needs to get in front of him, but they don't. And the CC immunity comes in on the dash, and he gets out freely. That was a bit of a weird engagement there.
That was a lot expended. They lost all of their relics in that one engagement, and Geb all he used was his ult. His med wasn't up. His med's coming up right now. This could be a good time for them to get a pick or get any kind of value on the map, knowing that everybody on their team's relics are down right now for quite some time.
Yeah, Pyro's up, Gold's up. I mean, maybe look, and then they pick up Rylan right there on the Kepri from stages. And Clay City solos Shmeepo again as Shmeepo looked to fight him around his purple buff that Clay City also stole from him. I mean, right as they make a good play there, kill Rylan, maybe look to group around an objective. Now their ADC's dead, and that kind of the blink in onto Clay City, but Clay City whoops him away. The jump coming out, the ultimate out of Clay City. There's no way he gets out of this alive. Doesn't have beads. Knock up from the Geb. The one coming in from Gilgamesh, the slow, and he is dead.
Yeah, that was crazy. Catching Clay City lazy backing potentially, and you just face the repercussions for it. As we do opt to see that Gilgamesh does pick up the Mystical Mail. Weird choice coming out from the jungle, and he has a health chalice. This is not something you usually see from your jungler.
Yeah, man. I mean, and that I mean the early brawlers beat stick. Normally sometimes you'll see it second, but I guess he really doesn't want this chalk healing. Even the Sun Wukong when he goes in for his ultimates to be able to heal either. Tiamat just kind of flexing on this Kepri here, saying I don't care about your damage. But both of these supports, they're both pretty squishy right now. Only have one item online. This Kepri's very behind in stacks, but is about to finish both of them up. But I feel like the play might just be just kind of target one of these tanks here and just kind of burst him down and kill him.
Yeah, I would really like to see them put some pressure on this Freya. Getting that refrag was really good, but it didn't relieve any pressure for this Medusa as she was dead at the time, so nothing was gained for her. She couldn't steal any farm. The purple is going to drop. Clay City's going to grab his purple, and he can't really
Oh,
gain anything.
Rigid
Same
getting
as
the
Samuel.
Rigid getting the dash out of Samuel. Samuel forced the ult, and then the pull in from the Kepri there. I think might have no, it did not force Stage's beads. It's just the CC was instantly interrupted by some form of damage, maybe from minions or something like that. But Sam's ult down again. I feel like the Bakas are keep getting the Dukes to exhaust ultimates and relics, but then doing nothing on the back end of that. As Clay City is just dominating this duo lane, we are going to see a gank from Rigid, but I don't think that's going to be enough to kill a level 12 Freya. And we do see the Capri falling in behind, so there's definitely no way that Clay City dies here. Catching out Shmeepo's dash. Shmeepo forced the ult. Geb Shield coming out. Meditation coming out. And the Gilgamesh gank coming in. But Freya's just going to ult immune all the damage. The blink in from Samiasan and the stun, and Shmeepo is dead.
That was a crazy misplay by the
We do see a potential re-engagement. Med coming out of here from Kepri. The Chalk rotating from Soul Lane into Dual Lane. A big ult out of Chalk, knocking up the Geb. Geb bursted down instantly by the Sun Wukong, and Clay City cleans up the Gilgamesh. I mean, we keep talking about gank this Freya, and for some reason they're sending over Rigid to gank. I don't really know what that is about. Why is this Gilgamesh not coming over to try and kill this Freya?
as we did see, the Gilgamesh did try to come over, but it didn't really amount to anything. And it's just this whole team facing the repercussions for it as everybody on that team dies. And now it looks like they're preparing for Gold Fury here after they just got a lot of good picks and they dropped that dual side tower for free.
Yeah, they strip away the tier 1 and tier 2 at 13 minutes in the duo lane. Now this Freya can kind of just do whatever she wants. She doesn't even have to really show face and lane anymore. Can kind of now group around on the right side of the map, maybe look to pull this fire giant. But Freya 3 levels up. Like you were saying, you give Freya any form of early. Oh, and Conva's cheating right here as he's hitting it reverse. But you give this Freya any sort of lead, and she's just gonna steamroll. And now I feel like she's at that point where she's kind of unkillable unless her ultimate is completely down. Blitzkov forced the beads, the winds of Shemesh coming out from Gilgamesh, the Geb, oh my, the Geb Roland ultimate, but Blitzkov blinks out, immuning that, and now two ults used for just Blitzkov's actives.
As we do see Gilgamesh up for Blink Cursed Ankh. This could be bad for him as he does not have beads or any defensive relics really. Going in could be a problem against this Fed Freya. He has no way to stop the whoop or anything really. He could just get permaslowed by her and never reach her.
Yeah, I mean, and then he also goes for a wing blade, so he really is not going to be doing an insane amount of damage as Chalk gets blinked on by the Gilgamesh. Ult coming out, double jump up in unison from Kamba and the Gilgamesh, and they pick up the kill on Chalk. Chalk a little overzealous there, thinking he can solo Bologna and pays the price.
Yeah, we just see an Avengers team up and they both jump simultaneously, jumping over the Choco and killing him in the process. There's not much you can really do as a Chalk in that situation against two people that have jumps. Your ult just doesn't really mean much in that kind of situation.
Yeah, and then now Sandman Sam not going for a CAD shield in the mid lane. He's even though they have some decent forms of actually really only a brawler's beat stick and a cursed Ankh coming out though, but he's still stacking this healing. He doesn't really care. I mean, would you keep stacking healing like this even though they have a brawler's beat stick and a cursed Ankh?
Uh, I don't have a problem with it because he's not the target. Gilgamesh should probably never be on top of him, so he should be fine. As
Oh
a matter of
my,
fact, as the
Medusa
Medusa
missing
ult
her
does miss.
ult. And Freya's just going to use sprint to get out. Sam and Sam ult coming up, going down, forcing the Aegis out of Shmeepo. Geb Shield coming in. Now we do see this Kepri coming on the backside. Oh my, down goes the Geb. As we were saying, Geb low mobility can easily be disrupted out of his movement ability, and they do pick up the kill on the him. But the Freya there was 1v2ing Rigid and Shmeepo there. Again, I don't understand why they keep sending Rigid over there. He's just going to keep dying. He's 5 levels down to this Freya, and he really doesn't have any magical protections. He's just going to really just get bursted down in any scenario.
Yep. Right now, Freya having that hasten ring, she can just kite anybody she wants, and there's nothing much she can do about it because if you're trying to take her on a 1v1, she's moving a lot faster than you are in these fights, and she can just kite you as easily as she wants. And she has that double healing coming for her passive and her kate, and she's 3 levels up on her laner. There's nobody really who can fight her at this point in the game. T-Mad doesn't have the best ability to fight a Freya. There's just nothing that can outpressure her right now.
We do see stages in the mid lane force the ult there to try and just stop the root from the Kepri coming in. The pressure is now mounting as they do take that tier 1 in mid. Now 4 towers fall for the way of the Dukes. Meanwhile, the Dukes, none of their towers have fallen at all. Only about half a tower in the solo lane and in the mid lane. Other than that, that duo side lane has not been touched. Chalk, again, getting a little overzealous out of position. But Gilgamesh says, here, I'll help you out, buddy. I'll knock you further away. Ult coming out of him. Blink coming in from the Bologna. Chalk ult coming out. He ones, twos, gets away. Bologna ultimate now. They are expending everything just to kill this Chalk. Geb coming in with the knockup, missing the knockup. The 1-2, and he's out again. They're trying.
Vaxis.
Oh my! Now a blink from the Gilgamesh, and oh my, he comes back the other way. 2 ultimates, 2 blinks, and they finally pick up the kill. But now Sandman Sam and Blitzkov are coming to the aid of their soul laner, trying to burst down this Bologna that they ended up ulting with Blitzkov's ult there. They do pick it up in the end. Sandman Sam going up into his ultimate. The target here should probably be the support. He does drop down, but misses the support, stunning him, hitting him with the 2-1 combo, killing Rigid. The drop kick coming out from Ganesh onto Blitzkov, and they do pick up the kill there. Stage is now out of position, slowed, double slowed, force the ult for CC immunity, beads down to the Kepri pool. This is perfect coordination from their abilities, but he misses the root, and now Stages just walks out freely.
Yeah, a little bit of an overcommitment coming out from the red team was they just kept staying and they kept trying to fight. This this Chalk just wasted so much time. He just wasted at least a good 30 seconds in that fight, just waiting for his team to come. Even though he was picked off, the stall was great, and he gets 3 people in return on the right side of the lane.
They wasted 2 ultimates, 2 actives, and then some abilities just to try and kill him. And and then they just pick up the chalk and die a 3-for-1 trade there. It definitely wasn't worth it. And now this pyro is going to fall for the way of the Dukes. You know, uh, as close as the kills are, as you see here, a massive lead coming out of the Dukes in terms of gold and XP. Shmipo decided to rotate to the solo lane there. I didn't really like that call. He probably should have just tried to farm as much as he can, get up in levels. He's only level 14. He's the same level as the support for the Dukes. What do you think Shmipo should kind of do here to try and get back into this game?
Repo just needs to tell his team, "Hey, I need all the farm possible. That whole left side of the map has to belong to Shmipo. He needs to find a way to get back into this game right now because he's not doing any damage right now as they do have a triple front line and there's nothing much an ADC can do against this comp that they just have against them. They have actually a quadra front line, Nemesis being a semi decent of a frontliner. There's not much he can do in the damage department, being 4 levels down on his laner.
Yeah, the Dukes have a very heavy dive comp as they look to pull the gold here, and Rigid really the only one in response to try and stop them. But they do end up getting off of it as they see a 3-on-2 engagement in the mid lane there. Sandman Sam forced the ult out very low. Stages jumping in using his full combo too. Clay City soloing Rigid basically over by the gold there, and then coming around and cleaning up Shmipo. The blink coming in from Bologna as the Freya lands, sprint coming out, immuning him of the slows from the Gilgamesh, all coming out of Bologna, but not on the mark. Bologna by herself on the back line. She's going to get cleaned up by Clay City again, and then they were unable to clean up the kill on Blitzkov and mid, and now the chase is on. A big stun out of Stages. The one just tickling Chalk that's 2 levels down. Stages should be able to freely kind of get out of here, but Chalk just being a nuisance, poking him, prodding him. The miss drop kick that might have been able to kill the Chalk there if he hits that. Stages up downs, misses the knock up, and Chalk is out.
They do grab Oni Fury while this whole skirmish is happening in the mid lane. I don't know what much the red team can do in this situation as your ADC is 0-4-0, your support's 0-5-6. Your dual lane's just not coming out victorious in this 2v2.
Yeah, that fighting was kind of out of sync too. Like one person's going over to check gold and defend gold, and it's the support, and then meanwhile 3 of your other people are fighting in mid, and then I think it was Shmibo. He's just kind of sitting in the jungle, undecisive on where to go, this way, that way, and then next thing you know, the fight got brought to him, and he gets dropped. Rigid gets dropped too, and then in all that madness, they win the fight, losing. I don't think they lost anyone, and then also picking up the gold all the while. Now, I feel like at this point they're just gonna have to get a lucky steal in this fire giant.
I would love to see the damage that this Clay City has done so far in the game. It has to have been a lot. There's no way he hasn't done at least 15K in this game.
Yeah, maybe we could pull up the damage numbers here and check that out. Well, yeah, actually not too high. I would expect to be a lot more, only 13K, but it is early game Freya. She's probably gonna opt for. What do you like to see? I see some people go Typhons in that last spot. I see some people go Ratatouille as they do pop the Frenzy and are probably just going to freely get this Fire Giant. Blitzkov alting Gilgamesh there and is just shredding him, even though he is going for the more tankier build. And I think the Bakas are just going to have to back off. Stage is trying to go in and one-man steal this, poking out the Freya, but Freya's healing and sustain is just going to be able to keep her in there. And the Dukes do pick it up pretty freely. Sandman Sam on the backside, basically soloing the jungler, and then Blitzkov coming in to clean up Conva. And this is this sporadic fighting that we were talking about. Rigid falling too, popping meditation, but it does not matter. Again, Blitzkov picking up Shmipo on the back end, and then Vaxis killing Stages, a 5-for-0 cleanup on that one.
Yeah, they got fire. They just had to get out. This Frey is way too far ahead to really even try to contest the fight. You just have to scrap whoever is caught lacking and just keep pushing it out of the fight because as we see, they just got decided. There's literally nothing they could do in that situation. And they have that fire giant sustain. It's just too much for them to handle.
Yeah, and then I think this is just a game. They're going to walk this down. 10 seconds on a support that's level 14. I don't think they really have to worry about him. And they do have the Freya damage. And yeah, this is a clean as it comes there in the late game. I don't know. I feel like the the V Bakas there were kind of just all over the place. Like they were fighting two people over here, three people over here, one person over this way. I mean, when you're down, what I think going into that fight they were down like 9K gold. You can't really spread out and fight like that. You kind of have to just 5 man engage on one guy, burst him down, and then get in and get out and just take what little value you can.
Even then, they can't really do that as they are up against four frontliners. Maybe not all the most tanky, but when you're behind, people are a lot tankier than what you perceive to be. And this 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 Sun Wukong mid and this chalk, there's just too much healing to go around to really do any damage that's really impactful. With this Kepri on the side, you're just not really killing anybody. Kepri is one person you don't want to see on the other team when your team starts to get behind like that because he just stops everything that you're trying to do. He allows you to not get a pick that you want, and that is just so detrimental into these kind of fights.
Yeah, I mean, and Kepri into this comp is almost like perfect. I mean, Clay City gets dove, ults. Sandman Sam gets the dive, ult, get basically a second life, and then gets an ult from the Kepri coming back in. I mean, on paper, I mean, looking at this, there's no CC, no hard like lockdown really, besides for the Kepri on terms of the Dukes. But somehow that doesn't really matter. They come in and just kind of wipe this one up pretty easily. What do you hope to see from the Bagas in game two to kind of turn this around?
I would like to see them have like a little bit more coordination and probably try to shut off Clay City as he just proved that he was probably the better mechanical ADC in the matchup. As we do see him opt to go into the sprint early, I do see that it could have a winning matchup. Is it's just basically a Ring of Hecate? I mean, not a Ring of Hecate. What's that ring?
Which one?
Hastening ring,
The
hastening
hastening
ring,
ring. Yeah.
basically a hastening ring early, just allowing him to run down Shmipo because he has no way to slow him down. His ult's not good enough. All he has to do is turn around quickly and he can just keep chasing as he is faster than him.
Yeah, I mean, and then the damage numbers at the end of that game, Sandman Sam comfortably 22K, sitting above everyone else. Conva on the other side leading his charge with 20K damage on that Bologna. I mean, he did kind of out damage and outbox that Chalk there, though I feel like Chalk just had more impactful maybe ultimates and plays as he's rotating, buying a lot of time, stalling very long. But I don't know. I think they need to kind of ban this Freya going into game two. She was just a menace, and if no one's gonna gank her, I mean, that's kind of a problem.
Yeah, that's one thing you don't want to see is you don't want to see the Fed ADC start off Fed. That's just not a good thing, especially if it's a magical ADC in this current meta. Magical ADCs, if you give them the pressure that they want early, they are going to run it and they are going to keep that run and they're just going to start turning it into a sprint. And there's nothing much you can do to that late game.
Yeah, I mean, and I think now we are actually going to load Buck up into game number two. As you were saying, you wanted to see some key changes from the Bakas. Let's see if they're gonna do it here. Maybe they start with a draft. Maybe look to ban away that Freya, or I mean, because you're not gonna ban a Chalk really in the first phase, and you're not gonna ban a Sun Wukong. So I mean, I feel like the only real thing to ban off of their comp is that Freya.
I completely agree. There's just kind of a troll throwaway ban if you're banning something like Sun Wukong mid. I think it's more of just a teamwork issue, not allowing the cheese pick to do the cheese that it wants to do. It's something that your team doesn't have to really sit on for too long. You just have to come to terms that you lost from the cheese and just not let it happen again the next time.
We yep. I mean that is kind of how it is. I mean they did just kind of get bullied by non-meta picks really. I mean I guess besides for the Chalk and maybe the Kepri were kind of meta, but you don't really see massive bans out of them in the first phase. Maybe Kepri a little bit if you don't know how to play into it. But I mean, I don't know. They're gonna have to change some though. Maybe even the Bakas look to take away some of those picks from them. Maybe grab that Chalk if they can. I mean, but you do see the same bans coming out of the Dukes here, just targeting stages. Really are kind of just saying, hey, we don't care about anybody else on the team. We just don't want stages to be on something that he's comfortable on. Meanwhile, they do end up banning that Freya away and then picking up the Camazot's ban. And the Dukes decide, you know what? He played Tiamat last game. Let's see what else he's going to play this game. And they end up banning that away. And then the RDO ban to finish it off.
What do you think to see here from the first pick from both sides?
I mean, it'll probably just be something troll again from the Dukes, like the insta lock of the Chalk, maybe, or maybe even another Sun Wukong pickup. And yep, there it is, the insta lock on the Chalk. From the Bakas, I mean, I liked the Geb. I mean, I like Geb personally, but I feel like Rigid was just having a hard time kind of like getting in there, setting up, and then being able to get out and just not die instantly. Maybe they steal away the Kepri here. Look to help that back on a little bit more that was getting dove on. I mean, even Yamoja's open still.
Yeah, I completely agree. Though it's just a team fight coordination issue, as we never really saw the Gilgamesh ult with this Geb. They just never seem to be in the same place at the same time, and
Your
nothing much can
chances
really be
to
done
win
with
the
that. You're not
fight
having a
have
CC chain
diminished.
comp already, and just not using the little CC you have together is also very detrimental to your team fight.
A Mulan coming out to fight into this chalk this time, and a Hachi man. I don't know. I'm not. I honestly, I think they probably should have prioritized
I
maybe a
will
soul laner
win
there.
peace
Hachi
by
man, you can
force.
easily pick up in the second pick phase. I honestly don't think he's going to be banned out. Coco Khan being hovered in the mid lane. Coco Khan actually, the beginning of the year saw a lot of play. People were saying that he's going to be kind of meta, and then instantly fell off once people understood that. Hey, wait, we can just dive him and kill him on cooldown. But the Dukes decide that's not the style they want to go down. They're not trying to troll like that, and they end up grabbing the Soul and Naja.
Naja, not really seeing a
Super!
lot of play besides from people like Scream opting to go Aegis first on Scream. Maybe we'll see a little bit of that action coming up from Blitzkov if it does go into the indeed into the jungle. Soul, pretty meta god, can be placed either in ADC or mid. Does the same thing, just shreds your front line. That's why she's getting nerfed in season 9. One more day.
Yeah, one more day, and then finally, you don't have to see people spamming Soul with a stupid amount of passive attack speed for literally nothing. We do see the Gilgamesh being covered again, but instead locks in for the Achilles. That
You
will
are
more than likely
finished.
be an Achilles jungle. I don't really see it going support, and Mulan is almost definitely in the Soul lane there. Um, I don't know. What do you think of this top three coming out of the side of the Bacchus? I really don't think that it fixes the problems that they had in game one.
Uh, just announcing your ADC this early in could be big. It's not really that much of a meta ADC, as most meta ADCs are mages right now. And announcing your ADC first pick is a very bold statement, especially like a god like Hachiman, who does have some very bad matchups into gods like Sasano or anybody who can just track him down and follow him and just sit on top of him.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, even some gods that can kind of like lock him down, like you get a Cabrakan ultimate on him, and where's he going?
Yeah,
He has to
exactly.
basically ult back into your team just to get out. We do see the Thoth getting banned and the Yamoja. 4 bans coming out on the stages. Poor guy can't get anything at all in the mid lane there. And then on the other side, we do see Geb and the Kepri ban. I mean, I don't understand that. I mean, is it going to be an Achilles support? I mean, why double ban Guardians there if you still need a Guardian yourself?
Just I don't know. I think they just weren't really thinking that much in the situation. As if you're gonna pick up Achilles, and preferably he's gonna be in the jungle. No, I think it's Mulan solo, Achilles jungle, Circuit support. So if this Achilles is going into the
This is
jungle, I
one
don't really see
tale
what the
you
fear
don't
factor
want
is
to
from a
chase,
Kepri or a
darling.
Geb, as you do have that ult just to say, hey, I don't care about what you're doing. I'm just gonna kill them anyways.
Yeah, right. I mean, Achilles just absolutely counters Kepriol in like in every way imaginable. The only way you can stop it is literally if somebody body blocks it. But but yeah, for some reason they decided to ban it away, and then now they don't even get to pick up the Kepri on their own side. Yamoji getting banned out too, as I said earlier. A lot of the top Guardians kind of getting banned out here now. They do end up going with the Circuit support, which again, not a lot of appeal for this back line. We did see Shmipo have a very hard time in game number one. Really struggling to get going, and then in the mid and late game just kind of get dove on. But I feel like maybe if this Mulan and Circuit just kind of sit on them, maybe. But I mean, you don't want to sit on the back line of Circuit. You kind of want to get in there and solo people on your own.
I completely agree. Circuit doesn't really want to have to sit in the back for too long. Maybe just to ult somebody
I
and
will
then
leave
just pass
standing
the
no
time, but that's
barrier
about it.
to
She doesn't
our
really want to have to
success.
play the peel job. She wants to just oppress somebody in the back line
Say
of the other
my
team,
name
like
three
Soul.
times
She wants to make sure
fast,
she's not
and I'll
healing.
punch you in the
Chalk,
face.
maybe. Hercules, they're just giving him a bunch of options, but this Ganesh could be a pretty good counter for Circuit, not giving her the ability to press the button she wants to press.
Yeah, I mean now she kind of jumps in with no
Time is
regard
on
for
our
her own
side.
life. He can just silence her and they can just kind of burst her down, and she can't really do much about it. We do see the okay, never mind. They're trolling again on me. Chuck going back into the soul lane. This time Hercules in the mid lane. Never mind. Okay, I'll say it when they're in game. They're switching around 10, 20 times. They're trolling my picks here, but they do end up rounding off their draft with a Kronos in the mid lane. I think that might be the worst mid laner in the game right now.
Hey, I personally am a Kronos fan. I love the ability that he brings to his team of team fighting without being there. He can be like, "Hey, you guys go defend Fire Giant or pull Fire Giant, and I'll be on my way." And while he says he's on his way, he's at the enemy team's Phoenix. I love that play from him, and I would like to see if Stages can put his team on his back right now with this Kronos pick. Probably push some Phoenixes with it as well.
Yeah, I mean, we did see in the finals for the majors, we did see Miju, Mr. Subkiller, split push the entire game as Heimdall. You don't really see that all too often. Heimdall solo split pushing, and that actually basically won them the game. As the one time he decided to go into a team fight in a 5v5, they weren't expecting it, and he absolutely shredded them and ended up winning the game off that. I'm pretty sure he had more structure damage than player damage in that game, if I wasn't wrong. So maybe we're going to see that on stages here with this Kronos.
Yeah, Miju was just flexing on the other team, saying, "Hey, I'm the best solo laner in the league, and I'm gonna prove it to you right now by choosing an off-meta god, and you guys aren't gonna do anything about it because I'm better than you." Essentially,
Yeah, kind of rude out of him, you know. He bullied my favorite solo laner, Chef, but you know, I guess Chef will get his revenge next season, maybe. But going into this game, we see a Kronos with sands of time in the mid lane. Do you? I don't know, man. I kind of like the Boombas, the Boomba start. What do you think about the sands of
well,
time over Boombas?
he's probably playing it to be like a traditional mage. I do go the Boomba Sandwich to help me with split pushing. It does help give you that 80 true damage onto the Phoenix. And you do have a lot of really good shorter cooldown abilities on Kronos, keeping sure that your ult's always up. Maybe he's opting to a more mid-like build with the Book of the Dead.
Yeah, I mean, maybe the Book of the Dead to try and sustain and stay alive, but I mean, I don't know. That like I said, the Boombas is just too good. Like it just shreds objectives, and then even when you upgrade it to Boomba's Hammer, I mean, your abilities are up on like a 4 second cooldown at all times, and then it even starts proccing off your ultimate too. I mean, that ultimate has a long charge time or a long cooldown time, so it's pretty good. We do see the pressure coming out of here for the Soul, as you should, with the Ganesh coming in there too. Blitzkov beating the Achilles badly to the lane, and actually, for some reason, Kava decided not to start his blue and instead went for the wave, maybe? And now the jungler come up to help clean it up.
Maybe a little bit of a miscommunication or just a weird start they wanted to try and just didn't see much value from it. This Conva is now just going to lose a lot of pressure. That first totem should go the way of the Dukes, but we'll see if that stays true.
Oh, big Circuit taunt into the one. The Soul forces Vaporate away, and I mean, early game Circuit just can do that type of damage. I mean, you think you have the pressure in the lane, and then one Circuit taunt, and next thing you know, you're at 100 HP, almost dead. Maybe your Shmibo was the dash in there. Maybe they might have been able to pick up the kill there on Clay City.
Yeah, they have to respect the Circuit. Yep, actually
The
blinks in
blink
right
in.
now.
Oh, the 2-1 combo again, and Clay City gets out again with 1 HP. No follow-up from Shmipo. Again, I feel like if he just lands one ability on her, she would have just died there. But, I mean, maybe he didn't call the blink out, or maybe Shmipo just, his abilities were still down. And we see Kanva soloing a Hercules at level 3. He has his heal up. I don't know how that happened, but the solo going the way of Kanva, and the Bakas come out to an early lead. We do see a gank coming in here from the Achilles. They decide to pick on the Ganesha, the shell coming out of him, and he does fall. So 1-for-1 trade, one in the duo, one in the solo lane.
I'm questioning the shell pickup as Med is just simply the best support relic right now in the game. There's just undeniable. And even though they are against the Circuit, it just helps you in this early game fight. It allows you to fight into her without any repercussions, truthfully, because you just out-heal them.
Yeah, I mean, especially in that early game, like if the Circuit wants to blink in and then taunt, and it's like, okay, well, we're just gonna pop med, and now you just die. You do see a blinking coming out of this Achilles, the stun coming in. Clay City low again the third time, but Ganesha coming in and peeling for him. But the purple gonna go the way of the Bakas. The Bakas, they're showing more pressure in the duo lane. We were talking about that last game. They just let a Freya free farm and just kind of bully that lane. Now they're really poking the Soul out already out of all of her pots and is relatively low. Yellow HP, no mana.
Yeah, as we do see a little bit of an invade come out on the side of the Dukes, and they do get a successful kill onto Conva that will give some stress relief to Vacus over here on the Hercules.
Yeah, you put pressure on one side of the map, the other side of the map now weak from defense. So we do see the purple getting invaded, and then the other side, Conva getting the counter invade on his blue buff and falling. That lead that Conva had now completely gone as Hercules is a whole level up on him. And again, Clay City just kind of getting ran down by this Sercat, and there's not a lot he can do early. I mean, Soul's early damage is kind of weak until she gets that, the Hakate and one more item online. Then she kind of starts slapping people around. But as of right now, that Sercat is going to kind of bully her in this laning phase.
Yeah, that's one thing Serket does good. She doesn't have the best late game, but early game she's oppressive. Just DPS that she can present this early in, even building full support is just so much. No backliner really wants to deal with it this early into the game. Both the mid and the ADC kind of have to admit defeat to her.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really see all too often this type of comp though, where you have uh, uh, a Kronos in the mid lane, a Serket support, and then two warriors jungling in soul lane. That was maybe more in the mid early, as we do see the ult coming out of Naja. It's going to do like 12 damage though, because Naja ult is terrible early, falls back down. A big ultimate out of oh, actually, not even an ultimate, a big 2 out of Clay City, but is Shmipo able to just kind of freely cast here on the back end of Blitzkov, his team rotating in, the Serket getting out. There's the ult out of Clay City, making Shmipo 1 HP. The rotation from stages on the Chronos, picking up the kill on the Clay City is the Achilles jungle, and Blitzkov forced to just retreat right there.
Just a little too greedy on the side of the Dukes. Think they could find anything, they just couldn't find it in the way that they wanted it. The counter rotation from the Baka is still in the lane, the presence is still there.
The jump in from Serket, the ult coming out. Oh my god, he immunes the Achilles ultimate, but still ends up falling. Sandman Sam from the mid lane rotating over, picking up Rigid on the support. Stages peeling for his jungler, but not enough as the Achilles does fall to Sandman Sam. That rain coming down on him, slowing him, not allowing him to move. I mean, you thought that engagement went bad for the Dukes in the beginning there. I mean, Blitzkov ulting a kind of full HP guy, on a Naja early. That's literally like a 60 damage slap to him. Like, doesn't really do anything at all because Naja's kind of poo-poo right now. But then, the team kind of rallies around him, rotates over, and big chalk damage coming out, cleaning people up. And I think that was a plus for the Dukes there.
Yeah, just both teams just playing a little too greedy, just trying to find a little bit more than they should, and both teams facing the repercussions for it. Both teams losing picks that they wanted, but at the end we see that the Bakas do come out victorious with the last kill over there.
Another invade on the right side of the map, almost a 1-for-1 trade. Kama almost been able to pick up Hercules there, but his sustain is just a little too much with the pot sticking. And again, another invade on the right side of the map. I mean, Game 1, they didn't let that happen, but they let Clay City get big, and now they're trying to shut down Clay City. The opposite is happening. Now this solo laner is just getting free pressure, and this Blitzkov and Hercules combo are just kind of running that blue buff down on cooldown.
Not much Mulan can really do in that regard. It's Herc should just out-secure it because Mulan's damage isn't just straight up burst like Hercules 1 or Hercules ult. She has to put a little bit more effort into secure her buffs, and she can't really do much in an invade while her team is mostly focusing around this Clay City. I do believe they're doing the right thing, but the side of the Dukes, they're playing it right as well, as they see that the pressure's coming out, so they just play the other side of the map.
All coming out onto Rigid there, and then the Ganesh silence does get out though. Rigid, he's shown some pretty good signs on this Serket. I mean, last game on the Gab was looking a little iffy, but I do see again another invade, and Blitzkov picks it up. Kava forced the ult there, trying to run away, but the Hercules shoulder barge, the pull coming out there, meditation coming out of Kava, missed Hercules ult on the back end, and we do have the Achilles rotating over, and they will just kind of back off here. But what is that? 3 blues in a row now that Kava hasn't been able to get. We see the blinking from the Achilles. The Hercules does hit the knock up and the shoulder barge, pushing him away. But Blitzkov very low, ults away and gets out. But the team is on the way. Stage is rotating over. Though Chronos not going to do a lot of damage. This Hercules probably just going to be able to easily get out. But he said, no, I'm going in still. Knocks Cirquet into the tower, or Milan into the tower, picking up Kava there. Ganesh ult coming out, trying to do what little peel he can, but unable to keep Hercules alive, and Rigid picks up the kill onto the Hercules.
Solo for solo trade. Both solos just thinking, yeah, my team's here, we can get this pick, and both teams not understanding that both teams have a good enough DPS to check both solo laners at this point in the game, as Blackthorn doesn't give any prot, and both mid laners are scaling to a point where they have the DPS to check them.
Another massive taunt coming out of Rigid there, though, but Stage is getting a little overzealous and thinking that Sandman Sam's ultimate was down, but Shock all comes back up every 2 seconds, comes back up and does clean up the kill on the him. Now Rigid falling to Rylan, and Sandman Sam picking up the Achilles. Blitzkov blinking in and using the totem as a bounce, hitting Rigid and killing him, finishing off. But now Mulan spawning and coming back 2 levels down, but it doesn't matter. Mulan damage insane, misses the pull, ulting in, beads coming out of Blitzkov. Blitzkov using the one on the totem again, slowing the Milan. He should be able to freely kind of get out here. And oh, this soul laner down 3 levels? Or, yeah, 3 levels to the Hercules. They go back in on him. Damage coming out from Milan, but not enough. Blitzkov picks up the kill onto Kanva.
Very unfortunate situation for Kanva, as he did die to the ring toss off of the Lesser Scorpion. Maybe if he played the range a little bit better, he would have been out of range and probably get a pick off onto Blitzkov, but it just wasn't there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I liked what they were doing in the duo lane, right? Like, I mean, yeah, the soul laner is just kind of useless now, 4 levels behind. I mean, now they're never going to kill a Hercules, so there's really no point in ganking it at this point. Like, even the jungler is 3 levels down. I mean, this Hercules is unkillable. You don't have enough anti-heal to stop him. I like what they were doing in the duo side, but again, now they're just letting Clay City 1v1 Shmeep, and if it's anything like last game, I feel like Shmeep's gonna just kind of get ran down here. As we see Blitzkov dashing in, Shmeepo using his beads with no ultimate coming out. You want to see him wait for the ultimate proc to come out of the Naja there before he uses his beats.
Completely agree. This just gives Soul like farming ground at this point. She knows the beads are down and she has her double life steal. She can just box Shmeepo as long as she wants to. She just has to sustain to back it up, and if Shmeepo engages too hard, she can just ult him and he has no way to refute it.
Yeah, and then on the back end of that, now Blitzkov invading the purple buff does pick it up. A blink coming in from the Achilles, forcing Naja to ult out. The Soul 2, just off the mark. Same thing with the ultimate, but Rigid picking up the kill on Blitzkov. Ganesh ult coming out, doing a little bit of damage, not too much though. Shmeepo forced the ult away just to live. Stage is ulting in the mid lane too to reset, and I don't really see anybody dying here, but Rigid kind of just going in on this Chalk here. He's just too massive. They do see the rotation out of Combo coming in, pulling Chalk, bursting him down, ultimate coming out and hitting 3, knocking up 2 on the back end there. Soul's just kind of in their face saying, I don't care about this damage, but now he's going to pay the price as he's forced his Vapor Ray. Achilles ult way too early, not picking up the kill. The one coming through, going to do a lot of damage as they try to walk through that. The Chronos one-shot, Clay City getting pulled back in by Kava and killed, and Shmeepo going back to base and having enough time to come back and pick up the kill onto Rylan. We do finally see this Hercules rotation, but a little too late as everyone else backed.
Yeah, the Dukes, they just do what I call the peel Olympics, as we see the Ganesh and the Soul trying to peel each other off and get each other both out. And in that situation, one of you has to die and the other one has to try to live. In that situation, I would like to see Clay City just say, hey, you're the support, you're not worth as much gold as I am right now. I would like to see myself get out, and yeah, I have to let you die, I'm sorry. But as we see both of them get picked off there for virtually nothing in return.
I mean, I think the other crazy thing too is this Soul laner is down 3 levels on the Milan here, but he out-rotates the Hercules. I mean, what was the Hercules doing? Like, I mean, he doesn't need to be in the Soul lane right now. Why not just go around the Gold Fury and try and play for that? Instead, he gets out-rotated into the dual lane and then shows up afterwards when it doesn't even matter anymore. Kind of losing out on probably what could have been a 5-level lead instead of this 3.
Yeah, that's one thing I do like to know is that Conva, realizing he's down in a situation, trying to get value elsewhere, is trying to get somebody else ahead so that they can put on with the struggle that he gave to the other team with the Hercules. Let's say if Vassus was just not in the same state of mind as he just like in this idea mindset where he's solo lane and I have to stay in solo lane because the other dude's in solo lane, and when he pulls up to the lane, he sees that he's not there and pays the price for it as he does start losing the fight.
Ooh, Duke's picking up the Pyro there, but are going to pay with it for both of their lives. Ganesh all coming out now too, but getting pulled back in, and 3 for the price of the Pyro. Ultimates coming out of all 3 of them too, so 3 lives for a Pyro and 3 ultimates. That is a terrible trade-off. Now Rigid kind of fighting this Hercules. I don't know what he's going to do. He's probably just going to get sold if he wants to keep fighting into him here. But, you know, Kava coming to his aid, just kind of poking him around. But this Hercules, I don't think he's going to die for the next 10 minutes unless he just does something very dumb. So, Zev, what do you think on this game? I mean, the Bakas, they are up in kills, but down a little bit in gold. Meditation coming out of the combo. What do you think? What do you think the Bakas got to do in this one to kind of start getting back to even footing?
Kronos does opt for the poly. On that note, he can split push. He can continue to split push as Kronos 2 in the 4th stance does a lot of tower damage. With poly on the side, he should be able to just essentially 5-tap most towers and start pressuring out these T2s early as most Kronoses want to do. You don't really want to team fight too much early in. You just want to stall out the game as long as possible. Get your passive as high as possible, get as much power from it, and then just hope to God that you can scale as hard as possible.
Yeah, I mean, he does pick up the poly there though. No penetration though, so I mean, this Chalk building magical defense now is going to be as Kava a little bit out of position there potentially as Blitzkov is coming in behind, but the ultimate gets him out. Now the rotation coming in from the Bakas, they are able to pick up the pull on the Blitzkov, but he does just barely get out. Let's see, Achilles has a 2 here. He does immune the damage from Cirquet, but is still able to pick up the kill there. The Achilles, now Hercules is the next one, and he falls. That is big for Stages. Though the rotation now coming in from Sandman Sam, picking up 2 on the other end. Stages forced the ult back basically right into them. What is going on? The beads coming out of Stages now too. Just get out of there. I don't understand. This is like an arena match at this point. They're just fighting in duo side, then go to the solo side, then back to duo side as these ADCs are now just kind of being left alone for their own demise.
Yeah, it's just keep fighting. It's just, like you said, it's just an arena game. Both sides just want to keep fighting, and it's looking like the Dukes are just winning with these counter rotations. After they lose 2 people, they trade 2 people, and both sides wasting all their relics. But in this situation, Shock is just in a better state than everybody else right now in the current fight.
I mean, yeah, they have no anti-heal, so I really don't understand what they're trying to do here. They're not going to be able to kill this Chalk like ever, no matter what they do. They could literally hit perfect CCs and combo, and this Chalk is just going to heal it right back up and walk away, especially with Soul Eater. I mean, if he hits just one ability on him, like that's just gonna heal for a decent chunk too. But I mean, maybe they think with this Soul 0-2, they relieve that pressure over there for Shmibo. But I mean, Shmibo, even though he's 2-0-4, is a level down against the Soul.
Yeah, maybe just that constant fighting over in the left lane just proved too much. He's losing too much XP, just let KCD get somewhat of a lead, and losing his power also does put some impact onto him.
Yeah, I mean, and then we do see a Gold Fury getting pulled, but then Rigid jumping in, just trying to get them off of it. Ultimate's coming out. The Ganesh silence, forcing him to take a lot of poke for literally nothing, and then jumping right back out. Now he's going to have to back off. This gold should be pretty free, but the Dukes say, I don't care about that. I want kills. Stages ulting in a terrible scenario, and they do pick up the kill on the Stages there. I mean, that was just, again, there it is with that terrible like coordination. I mean, one person goes in, and then the next person goes in, and it's like, how are you ever going to win any team fights just 1v5?
Kronos thinking that he was pretty fine. He had the Aegis up, but the Aegis doesn't really do much for you when your bead isn't up and you ult in and you just see a whole screen of red. There's nothing much you can really do in that situation as a Kronos.
Kronos is opting for that book build. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a Kronos mid go book build. I mean, normally you think you'd want to kind of do a more oriented like pen build, maybe even an attack speed build with that poly, so you can just kind of slap objectives and then maybe late game if you get some free casting, you can kind of just body people in the team fighting stage. But is opting for that book build to stay alive. But I mean, in these last couple of fights, They're just shredding through the book procs.
Yeah, I would agree to say that I don't really ever see Kronos' build like this before. Maybe it's something I haven't just seen, and I just haven't seen because I'm not in this level of play yet. But yeah, so this Kronos build is just weird, as we do see Stages get a pick on the
Oh
Blitzkov.
my. Blitzkov ulting Shmeebo. Shmeebo timing the beads perfectly, and then Rigid ulting onto Blitzkov there, forcing his beads and Aegis out, and Stage is able to clean up the kill on the back end. This Hercules, now level 17, only 2 levels up now. I don't really know how he lost his massive lead, but again, he hasn't rotated to anything. Just been kind of sitting in this solo lane. I feel like if he's been rotating really to any of these massive team fights, he would just kind of be the difference maker and just kind of plow this game into the end game for them and help them win.
Yeah, it does appear that he is coming to these team fights a little late compared to Conva. He's just always a step ahead of him. He's playing down, and he's playing down right. So I can't really hate on him for being down if he's going to play it well like this.
Big Hercules ult coming out there as he picks up the Pyromancer. The Baka's having no pressure on them, just kind of praying on the 50-50 there, but giving up the Pyromancer for just a Hercules ult that's probably going to come up in another like 25-30 seconds here. I mean, dude, the Baka's just can't catch a break in this one. Well, I mean, even in the arena fights, they win it early because they're out rotating these arena type fights in the solo lane, but then the Dukes just come right back over with Sandman Sam and Rylan, and then they clean up the rest. And every single time, it's the Dukes slowly edging. As now you see what a 3K gold lead and almost a 4K XP lead.
Yeah, the gold lead will become quite crucial. It'll hit its spike right about in 2 levels for Sandman Samuel. So he'll hit level 20, and he'll be the first level 20 in the game, I'm pretty sure. Him or Clay City.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that Hercules at the point where he was, he would be the first one hitting it. But I mean, I don't really know. Is he like starting to like? Have you been watching? Is he just starting to rotate and then saying nah, never mind, and going back to lane and losing out a lot of farm? I just don't understand how he's not level 20 yet. Because we do see
a good ult Blitzkov.
Oh my, the Blitzkov ult coming down. Rigid did not have beads and just gets bursted down right as he lands. Big Hercules ult coming out and soul damage coming up to follow that in. A big soul 2 on the Shmeep doing insane amount of damage onto him. The blink in from Hercules forcing out the Compa. I think that was beads. Oh no, no, it doesn't even have beads. He just missed the shoulder barge. I thought he actually hit that. As we do see Convoy getting picked up as all of his team is basically getting zoned off by this massive Hercules on the back end. I mean, I don't know. I just feel like they don't have a lot of damage output, especially with this Kronos in the mid lane and a Hachiman that's behind. Like, where are they going to get the damage to kind of kill these tankier targets?
Yeah, I completely agree. That's why I don't like book builds in this current meta. You have the sustainability and survivability, but you just don't have the damage until you get those last 2 items online. I'm pretty sure he's opting in. I would say for an Ob Shard, but as
yeah,
I mean,
it should be some,
Bacchus.
there should be some penetration coming in there, but we just don't know what it is yet. It's not even going to be an Ob Shard. It might even be Spirit Desolation or Divine Ruin. Maybe a Divine Ruin for this Hercules, but as we were talking about how to kill these tanky targets, Hercules kind of getting trolled by his teammate there, as his teammate goes in to pick up the kill and then kind of bails out on him. He dashes in and then gets 3-man dove on by Rigid, Kronos, and the Mulan, and he does end up falling and wasting his beads in the process. Now we're getting into the late game. Both teams kind of getting there. Late game team fighting, I have to side with the Dukes still. I mean, like, the Bakas have a lot of solo target engage with this Circuit, with this Kronos and this Hachiman, whereas the Dukes have a lot of big AoE damage.
I have to agree. Even though we see the Bakas are up in kills, I'd like to say that they're playing more of a competitive arena game and just keep running at the other team. While the Dukes are taking it a lot more slower. They're getting almost every objective on cooldown, and there's just nothing much from the Bakas to even stop this pressure.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Bakas, I don't know. They just went away from their game plan. I felt like they went into this one as we do see the Circuit ult coming out onto Rylan. They are trying to burst him down. The ultimate coming out of the Achilles, expending a lot of ultimates there to pick it up. Sandman Sam blinking in and killing the Achilles with his ultimate on the other end, though. Hercules on the back end just kind of being a menace to combo, not allowing him to get into the team fight. Rigid poked out again, forced to back off. Now Shmipo beats out and now is gone. Blitzkov ulting stages and picking up the kill there, and a little bit of taunting out of Blitzkov. Sam cleaning up the kill, and there it is. They even got the first pick. It's 5v4, and then just Sam comes dashing in, ulting and killing everyone.
Yeah, this Kronos doesn't really have the best team fight, especially now with this book build. I would really much more enjoy him to just split push it out down left or something, because his team's not winning these team fights. They need to find value somewhere else. They need to create pressure on the other side of the map. Maybe then they wouldn't lose fire there. He could have his team stall around fire, and if they see too many people go to him, they can just fight it over there.
Sam is just abusing combo right now. This Soul Lander didn't even look like he was tanky. It looked like he was the one in the jungle. He's getting absolutely melted and falls. Meanwhile, Clay City and Vex is picking up the tower on the right there. Eyes are set on to this Phoenix. Only Rigid there to defend. None of his team showing up to this. But I mean, I don't think they're going to be able to pick it up with just the two of them. We do see the blinking from the Achilles. Did the burst coming out, kills Clay City. Kind of a troll coming out of the Dukes there. They just went in 2v4 and unable to pick it up. Rylan doing his best to peel for his Soul Lander and hits a big dash onto the Achilles, saving the Hercules life as they back off there. I mean, Clay City just kind of threw away his fire.
He did just throw away his fire, but Vac is getting out with the skin of his teeth by Rylan. His Knight in Shining Armor just saves his life with a nice Ganesh-all combo with the Ohm.
Sam just kind of running down Shmeep in the mid. Another Blitzkov ult coming out onto Rigid, and Sam cleans that up. All in the meanwhile, while that fight on the right was happening, they did pick up this middle Phoenix. Sam ulting and doing an insane amount of damage to these tanks. I mean, he's just basically, he's not even full build yet, but he's just doing an insane amount of damage with literally just Transcendence alone and Soul Eater. Goes unhinged by the amount of HP that he has, goes back in on the stages, but stages able to clean up the kill, and then the Achilles pick up the kill. Meanwhile, Hercules was split pushing the right Phoenix and picking that one up. Now just kind of inching onto their backline, kind of buying some time, allowing his teammates to respawn. He's kind of doing a little dance around here. I mean, he should fall pretty soon, unless he's going to pick up Shmeepo in the process. Oh,
Shmeepo in the back. Very unfortunate for the
nobody
nobody
peeling for Shmeepo, just kind of chasing him around, and he falls.
That is the worst case scenario for the Bakas, as they get their time stalled out for two members of the Dukes to come back up, and they lose their ADC in the meantime, so they have no sort of like long-term damage for these objectives.
Yeah, I mean, and now they really can't push anything. I mean, they can't even take towers with this comp. I mean, maybe the Kronos can kind of do something, but again, his build is not meant for, I mean, in my opinion, it's not. I mean, maybe if he uses the 2, it can shred towers and probably procs, but we do see a 10k gold lead now and 13k XP lead. But again, he only has 10% flat pen with that Divine Rune on Kronos, and now he grows the Kronos Pendant.
Yeah, he has absolutely no penetration in his build. I'm assuming he's going to pick up the Pendulum to even get more power, but he's still lacking pen. He has no percent pen against 4 frontliners.
Yeah, I mean, again, this is the same comp as like basically last time. This 4 in-your-face type of healthy targets, and instead of opting for, you know, some percent pen or flat penetration, he opts for cooldown, which, I mean, Kronos, his 1 comes up like every 3-4 seconds. I don't really know why you want an insane amount of cooldown, especially if he goes, I mean, I don't know what starter he's going to go with his Sands of Time there, but I mean, if he goes the normal starter instead of alternate timeline, that's 40% cooldown on a Kronos. I mean, I don't really know a lot of people who like max cooldown on Kronos.
Yeah, I'm more of a fan of the lifesteal ADC Kronos build, because I don't think he's that well in the ability-based meta right now.
Blitzkov is getting absolutely shredded by stages. That is one thing this Kronos can do, though, is melt the squishier targets. Clay City ulting the peel, but hitting absolutely nobody. Hercules just kind of shoulder barring this Achilles. Now the blink in from Sam. Oh, and the follow-up from Blitzkov, and he does pick it up. I think this might be the game. 2 Phoenixes down. It's a 5v4. I think they can just kind of run this down and play it right. they do blink in behind Kava there, forcing Kava to kind of go at them, ulting backwards to peel for himself, but not enough as he falls now, and that should just about do it.
Yep, looks like they're calling for the game call.
Yeah, I mean, Stage is forced to ult there, but unable to really just kind of do any damage before they walk into this Titan room. Now, the tanks are way too healthy. They even have minions in there, so, you know, the minions can even end up tanking for them, but they are just going to kind of finish them this one off. Soul not even attacking the Titan, saying, I don't care about that. They're just trying to pick up the kills onto Rigid over there. Same thing with Blitzkov. They end up picking up the mid Phoenix again. I mean, they just kind of they were just kind of trolling there at the end there. They could have easily have ended that a little sooner, but game 2 going the way of the Dukes. What did you think was the problem with that game?
They just played it like a competitive arena. Like I said, they just kept fighting and not keeping in mind that these short respawn timers, like in arena, their team just kept out rotating them, and they just kept coming back and back and back, and they just kept fighting like it was an arena, and there's not much in the side that they were gaining.
Yeah, I mean, and then they kept fighting into the soul lane too. Like fighting into a Hercules is never a good idea, especially if it's a fed Hercules. I mean, I don't really understand what that was. They had a good thing going on the left side of the map. They were actually winning the game when Rigid was just kind of making plays on the duo side there. But then they go over to the soul lane side and everything just kind of collapses. Blitzkov, that game more of a setup type of play on the Naja there, just really looking to ult off of mainly Sandman Sam and Rylan just kind of burning some beads, even the Hercules there, and then Blitzkov ulting and this kind of giving free setup for this soul. I mean, so who do you think your MVP was though at the end of the set?
As much as I don't want to say it, I'll have to give it to Sandman Samuel on this
No one ever
chalk
wants to
mid.
say it.
This chalk mid was just doing wonders. He does 40k on chalk mid against the Kronos. I don't think he has the best time against Kronos. 'Cause Kronos can just keep running away and not have to deal with him. But he showed that that's a winning matchup in his favor with the chalk, and even with the Sun Wukong, he was just showing that he was just so strong on these two warriors in the mid lane.
Yeah, I mean, even as much crap as we were talking about that build on the Kronos there. I mean, 35k damage, an insane amount of damage coming out of him too. I mean, I guess maybe the book. I mean, I guess that's just kind of Kronos late though. He hits the 3, procs that poly, presses his 2, procs another poly, and then any squishies just kind of die. I mean, though in team fighting, it looked like none of the tankier targets were kind of dying. I mean, I really wonder who he was going on in those team fights.
Yeah, the most of the damage was probably just healed up like almost instantly, as we do see. There's not a lot of it. There is a lot of anti-heal, but there's just so much more sustain coming out from the Duke's team. They just have so much healing with this Hercules, this Naza, and this Chalk, this Soul. They just have 2 CAD shields as well with the Soul Leader. It's just so much sustain, so much healing that you need to combo up your anti-heal to just do anything about.
Yeah, I mean, they did have Pestilence. They had double Brawlers, B6, and a Cursed Ankh, but not enough anti-heal. And the Dukes do end up winning this set, now slotting them into third place. This third, fourth place, just a little more gems to the third place team there, as the QSL now sponsored by Hi-Rez, and gem prizing was the name of this game. Any final thoughts you want to give?
This game was pretty spectacular. I mean, not gonna lie, I love to see this Sandman Samuel on the chalk. He's just picking troll gods in a sense, and it's showing that it was worked. It was a great set. I had a great season, great time watching all these games, and I'd love to see you guys in season 9 of Smite and season 5 of QSL.
I'm Hunter Big Malls, and by my side is the big old Zavenu, some know him by Let Me Eat Your Anus. That's all. See you guys next season for another amazing year of QSL.
Bye.